This is Richard Fowler. I'm John Kilpatrick with Okolona Aikido, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. And last video we made was with a back pivot. And so we were just looking at the details of the pivot, and I'll go over that just very briefly. So we'll do this with ski, although you can do it really with any kind of attack. So if he goes to attack, the pivot, back pivot is just this, that's all it is. And remember, with any pivot, what's important is that my hand is going to be the surrogate target. So when he stabs, my hand's in front of me, then I move my body out of the way, leaving my hand on the line so that he chases my hand. And that's also true on this back pivot. So on the back pivot, I put the hand out here. Now I step my body, let's do it again slowly. My hand is here, like this. And then I'm going to step out of the way, but leave my hand on that line of attack. You know, not quite on it, because I don't want to get my hand cut. But I can't take my hand with me here, it pulls it into me. So this is pretty important. And really, everything else I think we really pointed out well last time. Now, one thing, we're going to do something here. We're going to do Kote Gaeshi first from this attack. And what we're going to do here, we're going to do something I don't really like. It works really well. Taekwondo people love it. For us, it's kind of dangerous. I don't, you know, I think of way Aikido's practiced, people get injured a lot, and I want to avoid that. But let's back up a little more. So when he comes here, I'm going to pivot and then pivot and hit him here. And this is a real common thing that Taekwondo people do. It works really, really well. But it's also easy to hit your partner in the face, and I don't want to practice that way. But one problem I have with Kote Gaeshi is that the way you normally do it, so he stabs and I pivot here, well, I can't hurt him first. And I think, or I can't, and I say hurt, I don't mean injure necessarily, but I can't shock, you know, they say, a lot of people call Kote Gaeshis and things like that locks, and they say shock before lock. And with a normal Kote Gaeshi, the way it's done in Aikido, you can't shock before you lock. So so I don't like, sometimes Kote Gaeshi is the thing to do anyway, but I much prefer to hit the guy before I try to do any kind of wrist lock. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come here, strike, and then catch the wrist. And the way we're going to do this Kote Gaeshi is we're not going to do it as a wrist lock. I don't like pain compliance. And you know, Aikido claims we have all these beautiful ki power techniques and then all we do is hurt people. And to me, it's a lie. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the knife back up to, like we're trying to cut him in the face. And if I've hit him hard here, he'll bring his hand up. So he'll do that for me. So this is going to come up. I'm going to keep this in this position. I'm going to step back and keeping his hand up, drive his elbow into the mat. As I step back, I drop. So without him moving with me, I'm going to drop like this. So then when I do this, it looks something like this. So I come here, I strike, and that is extremely compelling. You can throw somebody really hard that way if you need to, or you can be easy on them if you want to. But a regular Kote Gaeshi is not compelling. And what I mean by that, if you're working with a beginner and you do a Kote Gaeshi to them, they'll stand there and scream, but they don't fall down. There's nothing about it that breaks your structure. You have to teach them to fall down. And something that Aikido people don't mention much is that the law really frowns on you breaking people's bones and joints. You know, if somebody attacks you with a knife and you break their wrist, that's okay. They're using, that's an aggravated assault or aggravated battery, and you respond with an aggravated response, breaking the joint, that's fine. If somebody just punches with his hand and you break his arm or break his wrist, you've gone from a simple assault to an aggravated assault, and you may have real legal problems. So that's an important consideration. So if we look at that from the other side, and I'll go a little slower this time so that you know, I'm not going full speed anytime, but I'll go a little slower. So he strikes, and I'm coming here, and just taking it down like that. So that's the Kote Gaeshi, and that's a very nice structure break. And then, you know, there are a lot of techniques you can do from this lead, from this back pivot lead. The other technique I'll do is a fighting version of Irimi Nage. And so on this one, what we're going to do is when he strikes and I pivot, now I pivot here, catch his head, bring it in, and then take him down here. So this is, to me, this would be a technique you would use where you don't want to hurt, you really don't want to hurt somebody. Probably not a life and death situation. Probably if he had a knife, he wouldn't do this, but we like to play with knives. And I had Richard bring it out here, so you know how it is. So here's what's happening. He strikes, and I come here, and now I'm dropping this arm. So, and a way to think about this is that it's protecting me. Now, that's not necessarily the best way to think about it. A better way to think about it is that it's a lead. So I'm coming here. This is obviously a lead. When I come down here, I'm still leading his arm out and away from me. And I catch this, and just it's very light. I'm not holding it with my hand or anything. And I come here. Now, you might hit here. It's hard to hit here and not break up the, in judo we would say it breaks up the kazushi. You know, you want a smooth movement. Now, our off balance, our kazushi comes from leading, not the same way it comes in judo. But I bring this around then, and then when I'm in here, I'm catching his face, and how you catch it doesn't matter. Some ways you can do a lot of harm, and other ways it's harmless. It's up to what your situation. And now I'm going to step away from him and squat. So from here, I step and squat. And it takes him to the floor. And it makes a very effective Irimi Nage. And, you know, a lot of, you know, with your basic formal Irimi Nage, let's say he's coming here, you know, so he catches my arm. And so with your basic formal Irimi Nage, you're coming here, you're bringing him back, and then you're coming up here, and you know, it looks like you're clotheslining him. And a lot of times that takes a lot of skill to pull off. But if you come to the other side of his head and bring him in as you come, then that's really easy to pull off. So, and that's what we're doing. We're not clotheslining this guy. We're bringing him to us all the time. So when when we do this, he's stabbing, I come here, I'm bringing him to me, and then I take him back here. So that's another structure break type. Those are two structure break type throws really that work very nice from this back pivot lead.